New York State Assembly Green Advocate Award for Naomi Rivera. I'll tell you a little bit about Ms. Rivera. She introduced legislation for the New York State's Electric Vehicle and Alternative Fuel Initiative Program. The Assemblywoman Rivera called for action on legislation that will create tax breaks and other incentives for New Yorkers who purchase alternative fuel vehicles. They says high prices in the state's bad air quality are reasons to act diligently. And for that, for fighting the good fight within the Assembly and trying to create initiatives to better our future, we would like to present the New York State Assembly Green Advocate Award to Naomi Rivera.
Can we bring everybody over just so?
Okay, you're the boss.
Ford Motor Company, all the members of the Chamber, for the important work that you do to improve and enrich the lives of all New Yorkers. And to Al, a strong thank you to you for your visionary leadership, not only in the Chamber, but in all the issues that you address to help shape our future. Thank you. It is an honor for me to be here to receive this recognition, and that you acknowledge that there are Latinos in government that care about alternative energy and a green economy and advancing technologies that will help to improve our environment and I think ultimately help save lives. I was asked to speak to you about some of the initiatives that I'm working on in Albany. And as we engage in the discussion about a cleaner and healthier environment, there's one thing that's clear to me, and that is that today we have the technology available to us to help offset some of the damage that we've done to our environment. And we have the production means to help businesses thrive if we adopt some of these initiatives. And so, what have I been doing in Albany? Well, you know, some of my colleagues, I've been called overambitious, overzealous. My mother always told me to reach for the stars, and so that's what I do. And she reminded me that, you know, our neighborhoods have been neglected and deprived for far too long. We can't wait. And so when we get into positions of some sort of authority, we need to act quickly and swiftly to do the things that for far too long have been neglected. But I did have my staff go through pieces of legislation that I've worked on, and they're really critical pieces of legislation, I think. And in some cases, they're just seemingly common sense policy changes that seem like a really big deal because of the resistance that they get. But, you know, I've been working on things like trying to replace highly polluting diesel fuel-powered buses with compressed natural gas. Does that sound ambitious?
That is ambitious.
It is a way of the future. But why? Why? Because it burns cleaner, because it's less expensive, and because it helps to give some relief to the minorities communities that have been ravaged by the high rates of asthma. So the MTA, and I'm going to skip around here because as I told you, I was given a lot of information. I've been working on it. You know what, I'm going to go through it. You'll have to humor me for at least 5 minutes. How's that? I've been working to push for the creation of a state commission to provide the total cost and benefits analysis of hydrofracking. And in June, this idea turned into a model for a task force now in place under the state's Department of Environmental Conservation. And why? Because we need to make sure that gas drilling in our state will not damage our environment anymore. And I know we hear about the opportunities for job creation, which are very real. And we hear about, you know, we know that we can use a natural gas instead of other less clean fossil fuels. But at what cost? And that's what my legislation is asking for. A commission that will give us the reality, the bottom line, at what cost? Because There is nothing, we can't debate the fact and we can't be blinded by the fact that there is possible environmental damage in our water supply should we move forward with the hydrofracking. And so we just want to get the information clear to our communities. Thank you. For far too long, we've been asked to breathe the dirtiest air of any cities in America. New York City, according to the EPA, has the worst air quality in the nation, the highest rates of pediatric asthma in the country, and the Bronx, the highest rates of asthma in the nation. The MTA has a fleet of over 5,900 buses, and only about 900 run on compressed natural gas. Guess what? They're not operating in our neighborhoods. And so the ones that are running in our neighborhoods are the dirty, polluting, respiratory disease-causing diesel fuels. And it's time that that stops. When we talk about funding cuts to education, we have seen the vilification of teachers and administrators in an effort to make cuts to our education. And tough times have faced us. And we have to make difficult decisions. But there are options that we're not looking at. There are options that are being ignored and neglected. And that is where it involves green energy.